Good evening and welcome to Gunner Shot. Today we're going to speak about the storm in a teacup about the tote gun system. ये टोट गन सिस्टम के बारे में कुछ बात करेंगे क्या है कहानी वगैरह 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 अगर आप देखेंगे तो मैं ये आर्टिकल 4 दिन पहले या 3 दिन पहले मेरे ख्याल में गनर्स डे के दिन 28 प्रिंट में निकला था रिटन बाय स्नेहश अलेक्स फिलिप ही रोट अ ब्यूटीफुल आर्टिकल अगर आप ये आर्टिकल पूरा पूरा पढ़ोगे तो बड़ा अच्छी तरीके से इन्होंने समझाया कि क्या है वगैरह वगैरह और ये जो भी इन्होंने लिखा सही लिखा है नॉट अटैक्स वज्रा और धनुष न्यू गन विल बी द मेन स्टे ऑफ इंडियन आर्टिलरी सच बोला है इसने सही रिपोर्ट किया पर इसके अर्थ अलग अलग निकले हैं and that's why I thought कि आज let me talk about this इससे पहले कि ये हवा फैल जाए कि there is something amiss in this whole story और yes, मजे की बात ये है and that is important on 28th Gunners Day that's when this interview was given and on 28th I was with a whole lot of gunners वहाँ एक फंक्शन था दिल्ली में हमारे गुरुओं के साथ बुजुर्ग लोग आए थे वगैरह एंड यंग पीपल वर आल्सो देयर यंग ऑफिसर्स वर देयर उन सब से बात किया था थोड़ा बहुत ये नहीं पता था कि ये आर्टिकल निकलेगा और इतना रिएक्शन मिलेगा सबसे बट आई थॉट लेट मी स्पीक टू पीपल एंड आई फाउंड एब्सोल्युटली क्या है कि सब एक ही राय था सबका मोटा मोटा तौर पर क्या दुक्के का फर्क होता है बट no one was bothered about it. Actually, no, they welcomed it. So, in that kind of a condition, I found it surprising that the reaction in social media and the threads which came out were quite absurd, actually. Actually, absurd, to be very honest. Right? So, let me see what is this. This man writes, Sir, this is what I'm referring to. Indian Army and Indian Armed Forces are the worst in supporting indigenous products. भाई ये किसने बताया आपको वर्ल्ड क्लास फैमिली ऑफ रॉयल आर्टिलरी सिस्टम्स डेवलप्ड बाय भारत फौज लिमिटेड is completely ignored by stating that ethos will be the mainstay of Indian Army. किसने बोला भाई आपको पहले ये बताओ मैं सब आई विल कंटेंट एवरीथिंग किसने बोला भारत फौज इज द वर्ल्ड क्लास सिस्टम ये कभी प्रूव हुआ है नहीं हुआ किसने बताया कि एथॉस विल बी द मेनस्टे ऑफ इंडियन आर्मी किसी ने बताया किसी ने ऐलान किया या आर्टिकल में लिखा है नहीं हुआ तो क्यों आप लिख रहे हो यार मेरे समझ में नहीं आता आई रेस्पेक्ट भारत फौज आई रेस्पेक्ट बाबा कल्याणी आई नो हिम पर्सनली एंड ही इज डूइंग अ फाइन जॉब एंड ही इज वर्ल्ड क्लास आई हैव नो प्रॉब्लम बट you are not the judge for that and you are not the judge that they have been completely ignored. Okay, then someone he writes need to force out import maniac generals from the acquisition wing of MOD. किसी ने बोला कि इंपोर्ट करना है इसमें कहीं लिखा है कि इन दिस आर्टिकल कि दिस हैव टू बी इंपोर्टेड और एनीवन देखिए पत्रकार जो चाहे लिख सकता है बट किसी ने बोला किसी ने ऐलान किया कि हम पूरा बाहर से लेके आ रहे हैं otherwise the dream of आत्मनिर्भर भारत will remain a dream आपके लिए हो सकता है ड्रीम मेरे लिए नहीं ना आर्टिलरी के लिए है बिकॉज आर्टिलरी इज लिविंग इन आत्मनिर्भर भारत आप ड्रीम में हो समझ में आया यही नहीं है looks like hot to give up on buying foreign equipments time to ban artillery import claw read you can keep plowing it all reads who are you to tell me to ban artillery import I am the one who banned artillery import well not now 15 years back and I'll talk about it today how we are an atmanirbhar artillery लेके आ गया डंडा हमें। आपको पता भी है क्या हुआ है आर्टिलरी के अंदर? Wonderful to hear about the news. I'm sure the Chinese will be happy to wait for another 10 years when the TGS will complete its test. निट है, उसका नाम भी निट है। यार अनाप शनाप मत बोलो यार ऐसे। You know, you demean yourself by talking like all this. You don't know what's happening. You don't understand what's happening. I have already done one big episode on artillery yesterday, today, and tomorrow. I'm going to repeat some part of it today because I think it's like a watch winding system कि सबको बताना पड़ता है कि भाई ये करो वो करो, ये हो रहा है ये हो रहा है ये हो रहा है। You have to understand that there is something happening, and it started happening not now. It started happening 25 years back. Okay? This is not a new thing. And these things which are happening today can't happen in the space of one director general artillery or two director generals of artillery. It happened in 1998 when कारगिल का लड़ाई जब हो रहा था। हो सकता है कुछ लोग जो जिसने कमेंट किया ना उसमें पैदा भी नहीं हुआ जब लोग वहां लड़ रहे थे और सोच रहे थे कि भाई अगले लड़ाई के लिए कैसे तैयारी करनी, ये तो निपट गए, अगला क्या करना है। और वो कहानी में मैं बताऊंगा वेयर वी हैव बीन सक्सेसफुल, वेयर वी हैव बीन टेरिबली अनसक्सेसफुल। क्योंकि ऑनेस्टी कम्स इफ यू एक्सेप्ट योर मिस्टेक्स। ओके, ये देखिए, फर्स्ट फायर आत्म विदेश निर्भर इन यूनिफॉर्म। फर्स्ट फायर फूल्स इन नॉट इन यूनिफॉर्म, however high he may be, find आत्मनिर्भर guy to replace him। ये कोई पॉलिटिक्स है? MOD should find विदेश निर्भर ऑफिसर्स एंड कंपल्सरी रिटायर देम। यार मॉरल पुलिसिंग मत करो बेवकूफ लोग। अगर आपको पता नहीं है तो आप चिल्लाते रहो, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता। आप लोगों को जिसको पता नहीं है, have that basic decency to find out what's the truth। I am एक्चुअली इसीलिए ये आज मैं दिल्ली से वापस आ रहा था तो मैंने सोचा सुबह सुबह ये प्रोग्राम बनाया था मैंने एयरपोर्ट के अंदर। मैंने कहा आज शाम को ही मैं सॉर्ट आउट करूंगा इसको। ये भी देखिए, ये कहानी आई पुट दिस बैक, ये मैंने पिछले इसमें मैंने दिखाया था क्या है। दिस वाज अ आर्टिकल इन हिंदू 10 साल पहले which Rahul Bedi wrote, which says an army in search of artillery। And when I put it out and I put out a lot of things, Rahul Bedi acknowledged in some form that things have changed। I'm glad he's done that। Sensible। Maybe at that point of time he was right, क्योंकि उसको भी नहीं पता था। Let me tell you, 2013 when he's written this article, I don't blame him for what he wrote। Actually, I don't blame him। He didn't know what was happening। He didn't know that the wheels of fortune of Indian artillery, Indian army, and India were changing। 2013, I know it because I was part of the churn। Either you believe me, or you don't believe me, it doesn't matter me as sausage। आप लिखते रहो, the Chinese will believe क्योंकि उनके ऊपर गोला पड़ेगा। Okay, let me get back। Okay, forget it, forget all that nonsense, tweet, treat, all that। मैं आज जो है ना, I'll explain to all of you the business of the stored gun system in the overall concept of artillery, what is happening, so that you understand the whole story। But इससे पहले I want you to like this video। If you like this video, press that button, and I would like more people to subscribe to me। because now for a few days I'm going to concentrate on procurement, defense industrial base, right? uh, DRDO टर्नओवर ये वो चाइना रहेगा, रहने दो उसको वहीं कुछ दिन के लिए, कहीं नहीं जाएगा, right? So I'm going to do this so that we get some focus on procurement and building capacities. I get the best minds to talk about overall of DRDO. यार कोई देखता ही नहीं है उसको, फिर बोलते हो कि DRDO is not giving or something else. आप सुन तो लो क्या हो रहा है. आप कमेंट कर देते हो कि व्हाई शुड जनरल स्पीक ऑफ DRDO. तो यार पॉलिटिशियन आके बात करेगा DRDO को क्या है, वो डिफेंस रिसर्च डेवलपमेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है. Who will tell them how to do research? Will people who fight tell them, or public tell them, or they will know? वो तो सिविलियन है. Overall of DRDO is a government thinking. उनको हेल्प करना है, ये नहीं कि यहाँ कमेंट करो. No, no, I find it very strange that two generals are discussing about overall of DRDO. तो कोई रशिया से आके डिस्कस करेगा या चाइना से आके डिस्कस करेगा इंडियन DRDO के बारे में. देखिए, one has to be balanced in all this. This entire story of being Atmanirbhar, being strong, building capability, is not something like which can be decided in social media. सोशल मीडिया में है दो तीन एक्सपर्ट, ये खरीदो वो खरीदो वो खरीदो, वो सब खरीद के बैठ जाओगे, कल के दिन आपके पास पैसा भी नहीं होगा क्योंकि वो बेवकूफ खरीदारी है. एंड डिफेंस capability building it's a steady process and a thought out process, and this is a process which spans 50 to 100 years in advance. Okay, right. Now let me talk about artillery per se and Indian artillery, so that the issues of artillery, that's what we're going to talk of, right? Okay, Indian artillery yesterday, or till the time it was Kargil time, was all about neutralization of guns. It had rockets and it had guns and rockets. We were neutralizing the enemy, and there was very little indigenization. At that point of time, most of our guns were either Russian or both were Swedish, and some old English systems were still hanging around, and some Indian. But indigenization was very little. A lot of ammunition was imported. When you talk of today, you're talking of destruction, you're talking of guns, you're rockets, missiles, and you're talking of networking, which is artillery is the only arm which is networked, and that entire network is indigenous by Bell, if you don't know. आज आप बोल रहे हो net centric warfare. Artillery became net centric 10 years back. We are highly indigenized. And when I made this graph, fake, tomorrow started from Ladakh, when Eastern Ladakh ke baad. And that is the time the whole idea is to go fully Atmanirbhar and be export oriented. वो तो हो रहा है. You're exporting of artillery. And the whole game is about deterrence today. You want a rocket force. I did a program on rocket force, what is required. Missiles, networking, you need precision. No one is giving you precision free of cost. We know the cost of precision. हम काम कर रहे हैं भाई, जो हमारे क्षमता नहीं है पिछले 50 साल से, वो 5 दिन में थोड़ी ना आएगा, वो अगले 15-20 साल में आएगा. एक बच्चे को भी पैदा करने के लिए 9 महीने चाहिए. ये चाइना से पूछो, उनके पास बच्चे नहीं है. वो आज मैंने वो क्या न्यूज पढ़ा कि सोल्जर्स विल प्रोक्रिएट चिल्ड्रन बाय ऑर्डर. वो प्रोक्रिएट भी करेंगे तो 20 साल के बाद वो काम आएंगे वर्कफोर्स में. तब तक चाइना रहे ना रहे वो अलग बात है. Okay, so we'll talk of artillery only. So when you look in the 80s, I'm taking you back to 80s. We had inducted the Indian field gun and the light field gun, Indian design. We had the field gun factory, that is FGK, field gun factory at Kanpur. It made end-to-end producer of guns. एक साइड में आप मेटल डाल दो, दूसरे साइड में गन निकलता था. That was the time, 80s, mid 80s, 84. We inducted Bofors. The Integrated Guided Missile Development Program came into being 80s, 86, 87, 88. We fired our first Prithvi in 88. I was there. The Regiment of Artillery had the latest guns, Bofors, LFG, and IFG. Prithvi and Agni started getting inducted towards the end of the decade. But for some reasons, which I'll not get to discuss today here, and I can't also, all indigenous gun design efforts were closed. There is logic for it, but it happened illogically. Then in 99, we went into Kargil war. We fought with what we had and we won it. And artillery won that day for Kargil with what we had, Bofors, Grads, IFGs, LFGs. And हमने पाकिस्तान को अच्छी तरीके से पिटाई किया. ये तो सब जानते हैं. इंडियन आर्मी, इंडियन खास करके इंडियन इन्फेंट्री एंड आर्टिलरी दोनों मिलके पाकिस्तान को अच्छा धुलाई किया. बट हमें सिखाया गया था उस दिन, हम उस वक्त सीख गए थे कि कारगिल वॉर में कि फ्यूचर ऑफ आर्टिलरी lies in having 155 millimeter guns, not 105 mm. अभी कोई लिख रहा है कि फ्यूचर विल बी 155. दैट फ्यूचर स्टार्टेड इन 99. सोच 25 साल पुराना सोच है. हम नए नए सीओ थे. आई वुडंट से नए नए सीए. We were just, though some of us who participated in Op Vijay, some who actually were in the thick of battle, some who were not in thick of battle but were part of the whole planning, everything. Some who were in battle but could not be, they actually couldn't enter the battle because the whole thing stopped before that. We all learned. We were young chaps. We were sent all over the world. कि सोच देख के आओ कहां से क्या मिलेगा. उस वक्त आइडियाज लेके आओ. एक मेरा दोस्त था, उसको भेजा गया यूरोप में, हमें भेजा गया फ्रांस में, कोई यूएसए गया, कोई रशिया गया कि भाई ये नहीं चल सकता, हम खुद अपने पैर पे खड़े होने के लिए क्या करना है. वाज अ कर्नल देन. क्या? सो वी started thinking. In 2000, the Indian Army came out with a document which gave out what will be the shapes and contours of future conflict and how should we develop. And full credit to the team at that time and the vice chief at that time, 2000, who made that document. That's gold standard, because we've developed along those lines. The Indian artillery reformed as per that. And today we are in a terrific space. I started my career with a lot of Russian equipment, British equipment, and no Indian equipment. Today I don't see that happening. We stopped import of equipment long back. Whether it is guns, whether it's ammunition, whether it is rockets, more missiles, everything we stopped. हम तो खुद बना रहे हैं भाई. बेवकूफ लोग सब ट्वीट में करते हो. नाउ आई एम गोइंग टू 2001-2 स्पेसिफिकली. उस वक्त क्या था, सम डॉक्यूमेंट कॉल्ड द आरटी प्रोफाइल 2017 ड्रॉन आउट, विच पत्रकार लिखते हैं फील्ड आर्टिलरी रैशनलाइजेशन प्लान. मैं आपको वादा कर सकता हूँ, किसी के ऊपर शपथ लेके बता सकता हूँ, भगवत गीता के ऊपर, बाइबल के ऊपर, कुरान के ऊपर, ग्रंथ साहब के ऊपर, कि मैंने आज तक फील्ड आर्टिलरी रैशनलाइजेशन प्लान नामक कोई डॉक्यूमेंट नहीं देखा. नहीं देखा, क्योंकि है ही नहीं. व्हाट वाज देयर वाज दिस आरटी प्रोफाइल, आर्टिलरी प्रोफाइल 2017. ओके. उसमें क्या है, हमने सोचा उस वक्त कि हमारे पास 7 तरीके का गन होना चाहिए, एक नहीं 7 तरीके के गन, और तकरीबन 5 तरीके का रॉकेट और मिसाइल होना चाहिए हमारे पास. उसके ऊपर देयर वाज नेवर अ कंसेंसस फुली whether that should be the आकार or not, but people said यार ये क्या कर रहे हो, 7 गन किसको चाहिए, कैसे प्रोक्योर करोगे, 5 मिसाइल सिस्टम कैसे प्रोक्योर करोगे, वो सब हो रहा है अभी. पीपल डिडंट बिलीव. जिस तरीके से अभी कुछ बेवकूफ लोग ट्विटर में या सोशल मीडिया में डाल रहे हैं, उस वक्त भी पीपल डिडंट बिलीव. वेल, आई विल प्रूव यू दैट इट हैपेंड, बिकॉज इट्स ऑन ग्राउंड. हमारा आर्टिलरी ग्राउंड के ऊपर है. 2000 to 2010 द डार्केस्ट पीरियड ऑफ इंडियन आर्मी एंड इंडियन आर्टिलरी. अगर उस वक्त लड़ाई होता तो पक्का हार जाते हम. मैं आज बता रहा हूं आपको. अगर मैं पीछे देखूं तो हमारा शेल फैक्ट्री पर 2-4 अच्छे चीज भी हुए थे. हमारा 155 शेल फैक्ट्री सेटअप हुआ था, और वो आधुनिक शेल फैक्ट्री है. हमारा शेल्स बनते हैं हमारे खुद के, कहीं बाहर जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. और जो मैंने जनरल मूर्ति के साथ बताया था, लॉजिस्टिक्स स्टेमिना ऑफ द इंडियन आर्मी, आप देखिए उस वीडियो को. उसमें बहुत क्लियर मैंने बताया किस तरीके से हम शेल बनाते हैं हमारा खुद का. आई कैन टेल यू with confidence we have more capability than the entire Europe put together to make shells. हमने बाई मॉड्यूलर चार्ज सिस्टम प्लांट बनाया था और स्थापित किया था नालंदा में. वो इट गॉट इनटू प्रॉब्लम्स. बाई मॉड्यूलर चार्ज सिस्टम is the charge which is required to propel a shell in a gun. प्रोपेलेंट होता है वो. हमारे पास नहीं था, वो बनाया हमने. इट वेंट इनटू प्रॉब्लम्स, करप्शन रिलेटेड इश्यूज, बैन लग गए. एक फर्म निकला, दूसरा आया, उस पे भी बैन लग गया. वो फैक्ट्री चला नहीं, अभी भी पूरा नहीं हो पा रहा है. वो उसमें लीगल प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, सब कुछ है. इसके बावजूद आज हम वहां से बीएमसीएस बना रहे हैं. हमारा क्षमता है. वी आर नॉट यूजिंग द फुल प्लांट फॉर अदर रीजंस, फॉरगेट अबाउट इट. मेरे को उससे कोई लेना देना नहीं. गवर्नमेंट और एमओडी और आप लोग उसके ऊपर वाद विवाद करो, पर मेरे को वहां से बाई मॉड्यूलर चार्ज सिस्टम इंडियन आर्मी के लिए मिल रहा है. एंड दिस वाज द लास्ट थिंग्स मैं यकीन किया व्हेन आई वाज द डीजी आर्टिलरी. नालंदा में 5 बार गया हूं मैं, 5-6 बार. वी वांटेड टू स्विच टू इलेक्ट्रॉनिक फ्यूजेस. इतना बेवकूफ थे हम कि हमने बोल दिया कि कल से इलेक्ट्रॉनिक फ्यूज होगा. हमारे पास कोई सप्लाई नहीं था इलेक्ट्रॉनिक फ्यूज का. हमने बोल दिया इलेक्ट्रॉनिक फ्यूज बनाएंगे, और एक्चुअल मैकेनिकल फ्यूज का लाइन बंद कर दिया. क्यों हमने किया? इट वाज सो पॉलिटिकली मोटिवेटेड कि दैट इलेक्ट्रॉनिक फ्यूज प्रोक्योरमेंट स्टॉप. वी डिडंट गेट फ्यूजेस. मैकेनिकल फ्यूजेस हमने बंद कर दिया. टन टन गोपाल करके बैठ गए हम. वी वर द प्रॉब्लम. All that has been unraveled. Today we make fuses on our own, and all our deficiencies are almost over, and we have capacities. Every fuse we have 2-3 channels. Okay, 105 mm production line closed. Why did we close? We thought we'll get 155 mm guns. That our procurement system will be done. So we said नहीं इसको मत बनाओ 155 आ जाएगा. लॉजिक सोच अच्छा था बट हमने काम नहीं किया सही तरीके से. पॉलिटिकल प्रॉब्लम्स थे, ये दलाल वगैरह घूमते थे, सब कुछ होता था. वी वर डाउन. हमने ये 7 गन जो 155 mm जो प्रोक्योर करना था, कोई सक्सेस नहीं हुआ. बट देयर वर सम ऑफ अस हार्डकोर who said we'll make this successful. हमें पता था कि हम इसको सक्सेसफुल कैसे बनाएंगे. ओके और हमने एक 2007 में 2007-8 में मेरे को पता है क्योंकि मैंने ये लिखा है, आर्टिलरी प्रोफाइल 2027 बनाया था उसको. आगे की सोच. We said let's evolve. Doesn't matter. प्लान तो करो. लोग बोले यार तू पागल है, तुम लोग ये प्लान बनाते हो कि इसका कुछ होता नहीं है. हमने कहा नहीं, जब तक हम सोच विचार नहीं करेंगे, प्लान नहीं बनाएंगे. एक प्लान तो होना चाहिए. कुछ बनाने के लिए फेल हो जाए चलेगा. पहले 2017 सबने बोला कि ये तुम्हारा फेल हो गया, 27 बना रहो. मैंने कहा ठीक है फेल होने दो, पर प्लान तो करो, उम्मीद तो कायम रखो. उस वक्त उस दशक में वी वर एट अ डेड एंड. चाहे आप गन्स का लो और या एमिनेशन का लो, बट हमारे पास एक उद्देश्य था, दृढ़ता था, निश्चय था. अभी भी एक बेवकूफ पूछ रहा है मेरे से 007 YMM, वो जेम्स बॉन्ड का छोटा भाई. मैं दिखाता हूं. सर, इज आवर आर्टिलरी एमिनेशन गुड इनफ? OFB इज इनफेमस फॉर इट्स क्वालिटी कंट्रोल. OFB का क्वालिटी कंट्रोल नहीं होता, क्वालिटी कंट्रोल और किसी का होता. नाम लग रखने से क्या होता है यार. 007 सोच ठीक होना चाहिए. Right. Then what happened? 2010 to now 2013, we now have a plethora of gun systems. We'll go over each one of them. आपको बताता हूँ. We brought the M777 titanium based gun, 39 caliber, just 4 tons of weight. We bought it from the US, but today with such a manner that today it's almost an Indian gun because all parts of M777 are made in a firm in Lucknow. You can make this today on your own. Okay. We'll leave attacks out at this point of time. The second gun which we were thinking was Dhanush. हमने कहा यार बोफर्स का हमारे पास we have the पूरा drawings of Bofors. We have paid for TOT. Let's actualize it. We opened those documents up and we started making this gun. We have made this gun. It is inducted. इसका कुछ प्रोडक्शन प्रॉब्लम्स है वगैरह, वो सॉर्ट आउट होता रहेगा. इंडियन गन है ये. Then you come to the left, second left bottom, Sharang. We had lot of 130 mm guns. बाकी सब ठीक था, बट 130 mm गन पुराना टाइप ऑफ गन था और उसका नली जो है बैरल इज ओनली 130. वी वांटेड 155. हमने कहा इसको अपग्रेड करो. हमने अपग्रेड कर लिया इसको. बड़ा सस्ता ऑप्शन है. आपके पास अभी 15 रेजिमेंट यानी कि 300 गन का ऑर्डर हमने दे दिया ऑलरेडी और ये बना इंडिया में. इसका बड़ा मजे की बात है, वी गेव अ ऑर्डर टू लॉट ऑफ पीपल. लॉट ऑफ गाइज विद फॉरेन टेक्नोलॉजीज केम. The one which got through the trial was completely Indian made by OFB. ये यहाँ लिखते हैं कोई क्या सर, will OFB good enough? OFB will be good enough if you invest in OFB. तुम एक आदमी को चोर बोलते रहो तो चोर निकलेगा यार. अगर बोलो यार तुम चोरी कर सकते थे, कर दिया, जो भी है, छोड़ दो, अभी अच्छा बनाओ, तो वो अच्छा बनाएगा और वो बना के दे रहा है यार। हाँ, उस ओएफबी वाज नॉट अ ग्रेट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, उसको गवर्नमेंट ने एक तरीके से दे ओवरऑल उन्होंने साथ बना दिया, वो कर रहे हैं काम अच्छा, हम देख रहे हैं। हर एक चीज का एक वक्त होता है, एक तरीका होता है, और तरीका चल रहा है। इसी के बीच में आप बोल दो कि वो अनरिलायबल, ओएफबी तो रहा ही नहीं, तो रिलायबिलिटी का फैक्टर ही नहीं होता, है ना। आजकल इट इज कॉल्ड म्यूनिशंस इंडिया लिमिटेड, इज अ पीएसयू। इफ टुमारो द इंडियन आर्मी कैंसिल्स दिस थिंग, वो उसका कंपनी टप हो जाएगा। इट्स कंपटीशन, ही विल कम टू क्वालिटी। वो तो गवर्नमेंट ने कर दिया, पर आप लोग फिर भी पूछ सोचते हैं सर ओएफबी क्वालिटी इज बैड, सो व्हाट अबाउट आवर एमुनेशन, है ना। सोच अच्छा होना चाहिए। सोच विचार जब और किसी के ऊपर आलोचना करते हो और उंगली उठाते हो, आपका नॉलेज होना चाहिए कि वो क्या कर रहा है, नहीं कर रहा है, सही है कि नहीं। ओके, फॉरगेट इट। राइट, नेक्स्ट, लेट्स लुक एट वज्रा। वज्रा स्टार्टेड एज इंटरनेशनल थिंग, पर बना एलएनटी में। हाँ, उस वक्त की बात कर रहा हूं मैं। वी डिडंट हैव कंप्लीट टेक्नोलॉजी 15-20 साल के पहले, तो एलएनटी हैड अ टाई अप विद कोरियन कंपनी एंड वो लेके आए, और यहाँ बनता है अभी। अगर हमें जरूरत है तो पूरा बन सकता है ये, पूरा गन, सेल्फ प्रोपेल्ड ट्रैक गन हम यहाँ बना सकते हैं। पर हम, बिकॉज देयर इज अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इन्वॉल्व वगैरह वगैरह, वी हैव टू कंटिन्यू विद व्हाटएवर इज देयर। वी डोंट वांट टू रीइन्वेंट द व्हील, एंड इट्स बीइंग हैंडल्ड बाय एलएनटी। उनका पूरा फैक्ट्री है। हमारा प्रधानमंत्री गए उधर और झंडा भी लाया कि भाई शुरू करो प्रोडक्शन, और उसके बाद भी हम, वी डोंट बिलीव वी आर आत्मनिर्भर। और फिर बोलते इन इंपोर्ट मैनियक जनरल्स को क्या फायर करो। फायर करो मेरे को, मैं हूँ वो इंपोर्ट मैनियक जनरल, जिसने यकीन किया कि प्रधानमंत्री जाके हमारे घर से वो फ्लैग हिला सकते थे और पहला क्या निकल सकते थे। आप देखिए, मैं तो बोल मैं तो झूठ नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, क्योंकि प्रधानमंत्री गए हुए हैं उधर। अगर हमें इंपोर्ट ही करना था तो प्रधानमंत्री थोड़े ना जाते। इंपोर्ट मैनियक जनरल्स। ओके, तो ये हो गया चार। बाकी तीन गन कौन से थे? जो आई सेड नो, देयर आर 7 टाइप्स ऑफ गन्स वी वर प्लानिंग। उसमें देखिए ऊपर अटैक्स। उस वक्त हमने सोचा यार, वी हैव अ डीआरडीओ, लेट्स गिव देम अ टास्क टू डिजाइन। The point was that they've never had designed a gun earlier. The IFG and LFG were not designed by the DRDO. It was designed by a gun development team, which was inexplicably, disbanded. But that's okay. That's gone. So we said, let's start them. We helped them, and it out came the attacks. From the beginning, we were very clear there'll be only 300 guns. We were very clear. We have only 300 guns of attacks. नो, अटैक्स के बारे में हमें बता, सब बोलते हैं कि वर्ल्ड क्लास, ये क्लास, इट इज वर्ल्ड क्लास डेफिनेटली। व्हाई डिड वी हैव द 7 टाइप्स ऑफ गन्स? वी हैड द 7 टाइप्स ऑफ गन्स so that it suits our terrain. It is terrain specific artillery. If you see in the terrain specific artillery, attacks which is overweight, it's about 22 tons, cannot be taken to high altitude, cannot be taken in mountains. So it has to be used in plains. And whatever is in plains has to be shifted to mountains. अब अगर आप 1200 अटैक्स कर लोगे, क्या वो पाकिस्तान के साथ लगा के बैठोगे? जहां वेर नाउ और मेन फोकस हैज टू बी ऑन चाइना। सोचो यार, जनरल्स ऑफ द इंडियन आर्मी आर गुड गाइज, सो वी हैव गॉन इन अटैक्स, वी हैव गॉट 10 years experience. Is it the best gun? It is one of the best guns. Can there be anything better? Definitely. If the next gun which has to come has to be better than attacks, और वहीं पकड़ के रहोगे, इंप्रूवमेंट तो चाहिए ना आपको। ओके, फिर वी सेड वी वांट अ सेल्फ प्रोपेल्ड व्हील्ड गन। इसके हमने बहुत कोशिश किया, मिला नहीं। तो हम क्या कर रहे हैं, वज्रा का पहले था हमारे को वी डोंट ओनली 100 गन्स, अभी वी हैव मेड इट 200। अभी बात हो रहा है कभी 300 भी बन जाए, क्योंकि चाइना के अगेंस्ट लद्दाख के इलाके में वी नीड दीज गन्स, और कुछ और इलाके में जहां टैंक चल सकते हैं वहां हमें ये गन की जरूरत है। ठीक, तो so the SP gun, SP wheeled program has been taken out and we are increasing K9 Vajras, जो हमारा आत्मनिर्भर गन है। आप देखिए ये आर्टिलरी है आपका 6 पीस, कोई एक भी इंपोर्ट हुआ है? पहले होता था, खत्म, आगे नहीं चाहिए इंपोर्ट। फिर क्यों बेवकूफ की तरह अपने आप को गाली दे रहे हो यार? देन दिस टोड गन सिस्टम, ये टोड गन सिस्टम, इट वाज नेवर विजुअलाइज्ड दैट इट शुड बी अटैक्स। सोच है भाई, 50 साल का सोच है। हमने ट्राई किया, वो एथोस और नेक्स्टर को ट्राई किया, ये वो किसी तरीके से वो फेल हो गए। सो नाउ वी आर लुकिंग एट द नेक्स्ट जनरेशन गन। वी नीड समथिंग अंडर 15 tons, एंड दैट वाज द क्यूआर फॉर द टोड गन सिस्टम अर्लियर। जो एथोस और वो ने बोला भाई ये 15 टन से कम होना चाहिए। बड़ा प्रॉब्लम था, हमने गलती किया था उस वक्त कि हमने सोचा कि 1200 गन खरीदेंगे, बट देन लेटर ऑन वी रियलाइज यार इफ यू बाई 1200 गन इन वन गो, वही गन आपको मिलता रहेगा, व्हाट अबाउट द नेक्स्ट जनरेशन? सो इसीलिए वो अभी सही कर रहे हैं, दे ओनली आस्क फॉर 400 guns of the next generation. You have to go to the next generation, understand this gun will not come for the next 10 years. RFI hai, people will and this is RFI is not for anyone from outside, it's all Indian companies only can respond, and we have adequate Indian companies who will respond. L&T है, टाटास है, भारत फोर्ज है, और कोई भी निकल आएगा विद जॉइंट वेंचर लेके, आने दो। इंडियन आर्मी विल गेट द बेस्ट। ये आज के लिए नहीं है, कल के लिए है ये। हमने ये जितने ये जो 5-6 गन शुरू किया, ये 10-15 साल पहले शुरू किया था। Most of these guns, all 4 of these guns which are in the 4 corners, we signed the contracts when I was the DG artillery or somewhere around that. अभी 6 साल हो गया, अभी आ रहे हैं, अभी कुछ आ रहे हैं अभी भी, और उसे 10 साल पहले हमने शुरू किया ये प्रोग्राम। ये there is no program in the armed forces which can be done and concluded within 1-2 years. Minimum time, it's a decadal process. So this toad gun is next, and it's for Indian. Whoever comes will come. Ethos, वो तो पैथोस है, खत्म। No one is being excluded. Someone says Bharat Forge, great thing. He's not being given a chance. क्या बात कर रहे हो यार बेवकूफ लोग? वो अटैक्स में it is Bharat Forge and Tata's. They will only get the order. और कोई तीसरा को नहीं मिल रहा है। There is a competitiveness, जिसने ज्यादा कम कोट किया उसको 60% ऑर्डर मिलेगा, जो ज्यादा कोट किया वो 40% ऑर्डर मिलेगा, इफ ही मैचेस द फर्स्ट केस। दिस इज अ ट्राइड एंड टेस्टेड मेथड। ये कोई नया सोच विचार नहीं है, न्यूटन की तरह एप्पल गिरा उसके सर पे। ये हमने शुरू किया था पिनाका के साथ ऑलरेडी। हमने उस वक्त पिछले जो 6 पिनाका का ऑर्डर जब हमने किया था, यही मॉडल इस्तेमाल किया था, जिसने जो कम कोट करता है उसको 2/3 मिलेगा, जो ज्यादा कोट करता है उसको 1/3 मिलेगा या 40% मिलेगा, डिपेंडिंग ऑन द नंबर्स। वही फॉर्मूला हो रहा है। तो worst case, even if Bharat Forge doesn't is not the lowest bidder, and but he can match the lowest bidder later. He gets 40%. 40% of 300 is how many? 120 guns. Each gun being 20 crores or 25 crores, whatever it is, which is a big order. So order over 3,000 odd crores. अगला ऑर्डर 400 गन्स का ओपन टेंडर होगा. जो गन लेके आएगा अच्छा गन ट्रायल के बाद हम लेंगे. कोई इंपोर्ट मेनियक जनरल नहीं है. ये आत्मनिर्भर मेनियक जनरल्स हैं या आर्टिलरी के अंदर. फायर करो. ये कोई गन है एक जनरल को फायर कर दोगे. So the point is, it's a great thing to celebrate. Out of the 7 models which we have attempted, we have got 5 guns. The 6th is now en route. The 7th we have dropped. इतना सक्सेस हुआ है. And it's all Atmanirbharta. We are not dependent on any country. We have complete technology. सोच. Now we have. आप ये देखिए, ये रॉकेट सिस्टम ये सब इंडियन है. ब्रह्मोस इंडियन है. पिनाका इंडियन है कंप्लीटली. ग्रेड वो हम रॉकेट भी बनाते हैं. सिर्फ वो नली रशिया का है वो, बिकॉज दे आर गुड विद ओल्ड वंस व्हिच वी गॉट इन 1971. वो अभी तक फिट है, वो हम चला रहे हैं. और वो जो बेसिक चेसी है वो बदली हो गया. एलएनटी ने बदली करके दे दिया. अभी नहीं, 5 साल पहले. तो ये भी आत्मनिर्भर है. ओनली थिंग विच इज नॉट आत्मनिर्भर इज स्मर्च, जो हमने उस वक्त रशिया से लिया. आगे नहीं ले रहे हम. और इसमें इंप्रूवमेंट भी हो रहा है, ये भी बता देता हूँ. ब्रह्मोस का भी इंप्रूवमेंट हो गया इंडिजिनाइजेशन में. पिनाका के भी रेंज इंक्रीज हो गया, गाइडेड वर्जन. अभी मेरा प्लान है कि इसके अंदर रैमजेट फिट करो ताकि ये 2 साल 200-250 किलोमीटर आगे जाए. वही कहानी हम ग्रैड में भी बना रहे हैं. आत्मनिर्भर टेक्नोलॉजी. इससे ज्यादा मैं बोलूंगा नहीं, क्योंकि वो बोलने की लायक नहीं है. ओपन पब्लिक में बोल भी नहीं सकता. शारंग देखिए, इट्स अ मार्वल. आप इसका महज 2 करोड़ पर गन है. आपके पास 30 रेजिमेंट आ गए. एंड यू गेटिंग कटिंग एज टेक्नोलॉजीज. रैमजेट वी आर वर्किंग ऑन इट. 5 साल हो गए हम काम कर रहे हैं उसके ऊपर. लेट मी टेल यू, आई विल नॉट टेल यू मोर, बट वी आर द लीडर्स इन रैमजेट टेक्नोलॉजी फॉर गन्स. दी लीडर्स. कोई हमारा नजदीक नहीं है. आत्मनिर्भर. People are approaching us for technology. I'm very proud of artillery, because a whole lot of people made artillery so strong that today we are Atmanirbhar. These are the projects which we have undertaken, whether it's in rockets, whether in guns, whether it's in ammunition or surveillance or in networking. You'll see 80% of them are Atmanirbhar. The 20% which was not Atmanirbhar started at a time when we didn't have those technologies. We are all done. All these projects are successful. And today we have a fine officer who's been the DGRT. I just had a word with him few days back. It's very crystal clear कि सर जो हमने वहां 20-25 साल पहले हमने शुरू किया हम आगे ले चलेंगे. कोई पूछ रहा है सर अटैक्स ठीक नहीं है तो थ्रो इट आउट. ये कोई कचड़े का डिब्बा है क्या इधर? How can you throw it out? You developed it. It's a good gun. It's got problems. That's a different story. You don't throw it out. You use it. And that's what the army is doing. There are methods. Okay, it can't go into the mountains. Use it in plains. Keep it against Pakistan. Because Pakistan is no is still there. And what lighter guns you have which you have put against Pakistan was ऊपर भेज दो. Like Bofors. So there are methods which Indian Army is doing. It's not everything that you are successful. You develop technologies. All this will come in use for the next gun. ये सोच जितना भी हमने जो सीख मिला है, next gun, someone will go to DRDO and say, okay, let's design the towed gun system. They'll do it. That way DRDO also will learn how to design the next generation. If they do, fine. That's how the Pinaka came up. The Pinaka came up based on public-private partnership. 25 साल लगा Pinaka with L&T and Tatas and DRDO. Same thing will happen to this also. अभी 25 साल नहीं लगेगा. I expect this new gun, which will, at least we start the trials in the next 5 years. वो क्षमता है देश के अंदर. Private players have to be given leeway. DRDO has to be given leeway. Everyone who says I can make a gun, get it. Let's try. We are on a pig's back आज के दिन. So there are a lot of things which has happened which we don't know. Very shortly, Indian Army will have one of the strongest artilleries in the world if we are not already there. And remember, I'm still not talking of Agni and Prithvi and all. वो class तो अलग है. वो भी artillery का है. वो भी आत्मनिर्भर है. If you people don't believe it, believe me. I was the first officer from artillery who went and started being part of the Prithvi and Agni system. I've seen the first Agni and the first Prithvi being fired. In fact, I coordinated their launches. They're part of artillery. Till the SFC was made, all the systems were part of artillery. आत्मनिर्भरता तो वहां से शुरू हुआ है. Okay, I've just put some numbers. You have a look at it. It's not accurate. It's not meant to be accurate. But generally, tomorrow, in about 5 years, you'll have 20 Bofors regiments. That's about 300 odd guns. In fact, about 400 guns. You'll have about 24 Soltam Oblit Sharang. Oh, that's into 20, 4,480 guns. ULH is only 7, so it's about 145. K9, we might have maybe 200 to 300. Right? I mean, that depends on how things go. Dhanush, I'm looking at only 7 in 5 years because the production utna hi hoga. That also is about 150. Grad, and ये वो. And इसके अंदर another 5 years if the towed gun starts coming in, it's bale bale. So we have achieved hell of a lot. And the man I personally feel who's done hell of a lot is this man, Manohar Parrikar, late Manohar Parrikar. I worked with him. My way of looking at it, in my limited understanding, is the best defense minister we've had. Without him, maybe all this wouldn't have happened. Open acknowledgement. It doesn't matter which party he belongs to. He belonged to India. And these two gentlemen, General Rodriguez, late General Rodriguez, last year earlier this year he expired, and General Deepak Kapoor. In fact, 4 days back, I was sitting with him and talking until I thanked him for what he did. So this is the story of our artillery. Don't question it. This artillery has won wars for us. And this artillery will win wars ahead. I have no doubts. I have written about it. Okay, let me take some questions. Lieutenant General Adosh Kumar sir said a couple of days back about revised numbers of artillery based on lessons from Ukraine war. Yes, yes, we have. He's looking at the number of rockets and missiles going up because that's what proved well in Ukraine war and reduced the number of guns. So he'll do it. I completely second him. War is not static. We must. Okay, let me take some questions from the top. I will only take sensible questions. I will not take Bewakoof questions. या ऐसे पत्रकारों को सीधे सीधे कैनन के सामने नहीं नहीं वो क्यों करना है यार ये सब उनका अपना रोजी रोटी कमाने दो लेट देम राइट जो भी है आई हैव नो प्रॉब्लम विद देम ठीक है उस तो कोई वी शुड दे गुड गाइस स्नेहेश इज अ वेरी फाइन चैप he's written a good article जो प्रिंट में लिखा है मैंने उसको बोला अच्छा लिखा आपने अभी मैं भी बोलता हूँ हम हैं जो सही नहीं पढ़ते नहीं जानते Yeah, general with northern and western altitude and terrain, if the number of these guns become different. नहीं कोई नहीं है कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है all this is uh, factored in there is a indigenous replacement for both us don't worry but please yeah it doesn't matter don't worry I'm not too emotional about it yeah on towed and self-propelled artillery what are the pros and cons see self-propelled artillery is where the gun is mounted on a prime mover and the prime mover moves and the artillery moves. Towed, you tow it. There are pros and cons of it. In a towed system, you can leave the gun and take the thing away. It can be lighter. Invariably, towed systems are very light. So in mountains, they're very good. Self-propelled systems are very heavy. You can't take them into mountains. Okay. And uh, towed guns, you can take a lot of ammunition along. But SP guns, you need an ammunition replenishment vehicle and all that. There are other things. Towed guns are cheaper, SP guns are costlier, but the roles are different. So if the role demands SP guns, you need SP guns. If your role demands towed guns, you need towed guns. It's a matter of terrain, right? Is it a narrative setting before the elections? No, nothing. I don't think so. Please explain the use of MBRL and normal artillery because as a layman, I think MBRL are lethal. No, everything is lethal. Everything is lethal. The MBRL covers the area, guns can cover small targets. That's the only difference in depth. Biggest risk is not taking risks. Completely I agree with you. We have to take risks. Yeah. Does our artillery have the capability to use smart ammunition? Is it already inducted? Yes, we have. We have some ammunition which we have inducted into the artillery. At this point of time, the smart ammunition which we have in artillery is imported, but we have only imported a small amount. The next generation, the next lot will be indigenous. Glad to see you back. Ah, thanks a lot. Yeah, I am also glad. What about 15-ton class gun requirement? Yeah, you need it. You have to have lighter guns. 15 tons is the uppermost which still he's looking at. Abhi jo hai na, let me understand. He's looking at 15 tons is what our future road capability, everything will factor in, hairpin bends, altitude. a lot of things. Mobility is important. Uh, so that's being factored in well. If tomorrow we, RFI stage hai abhi. RFI means the request for information has gone out. If the response comes and we find out after analysis key, we can make do with we can get a 10-ton gun, for example. RFP will go out for a 10-ton gun. We might have a lighter gun. So it's an evolving thing. We'll leave it to people who are serving. Sir, is it possible that many of these problems can be resolved if guns are given in large quantity rather than giving small orders? No, 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 no. That's wrong. That's wrong. Completely wrong. The problem of giving orders in large quantity is that if you are committed to that quantity. एक गन अगर एक बार आ गया तो 50 साल रहेगा. ठीक है. अगर आपने पूरा आर्टिलरी का एक ही किसी को दे दिया so that gun will be there for the next 50 years. You don't have any fresh induction, fresh technology. So you have to give it in packets, small packets. Okay. So you have to packet it out. That's the basic thing, fundamental. अगर आपको आप सोच लो आपके बच्चे के लिए आप आज वो you think he will be alive for 50 60 years, let's say. So buy 50 60 years worth of clothing now only है. दे दो उसको. खुश है. हो सकता है. नहीं है ना. क्यों वो बढ़ेगा. कल के दिन कपड़े बदलेंगे, रंग बदलेंगे, उसका विचार बदलेंगे. तो वही है. अगर आपको मैं बताऊं यार अगले 10 साल के लिए आप आपका घर में ना आपके बीवी को साड़ी खरीद के दे दो. सोच लो उसको एक साल में 10 साड़ी चाहिए, 100 खरीद के दे दो. Tomorrow I can assure you your wife will divorce you. Because she has to wear those for the next 10 years. But then the fashions change. Same thing here. Same logic. ये क्या बोल रहा है? What a lie. सर इसराइल के ले AB2 ये क्या? I mean I'm not understood what you are written. ये है हीरो. Vajra is nothing but screw driving. All parts come from South Korea. So much talk about Atmanirbhar going. ये RPG अब जाओ. Don't waste your time. TOT होगी इनकी. TOT किस लिए चाहिए? I don't want TOT. World's highest airport, DBO. This airport was constructed without government support and no aircraft. Yeah, I agree with you. We have okay. ओके. क्या सर इसमें हम सभी टाइप को लेकर और मिसाइल सिस्टम को लेकर एक इंटीग्रेटेड मैनर में एक कमांड बनाने चाहिए? नहीं नहीं, यू डोंट मेक. Your firepower has to be integrated with all arms. It's a combined arms operation, all arms operation. You have to fight together. So we're doing it. Don't worry. We're doing it for a long time. India is a rising global power. China has nothing much lies in IT cell. Yeah, we'll talk about that, Rabindra. Uh, yeah, sir, you don't mind half these half-literate generals will always have to. That's okay. That's his job. He must do it. I have no problem with it. He's not half-literate. Many times they don't know because they should not know. But it's my job to tell you the best thing in the best manner. See, why I get angry is not because you don't know, or I have no issue with it if you don't know because you're not trained to know and you're not supposed to know. You're not needed to know. बट आई टेल यू व्हाट यू नीडेड, लाइक आज मैंने पूरा बता दिया आपको किस तरीके से हिस्ट्री ज्योग्राफी सब कुछ बता दिया आपको, नो प्रॉब्लम। बट फौज को गाली मत देना, फौजी जनरल्स को गाली मत देना ऐसे, दैट्स बैड। The only true indigenous gun would be attack, not canine. No, no, no. Dhanush is completely indigenous. Okay. You are 007YMM. You are a James Bond. Okay. As far as I am concerned. पहले अपना नाम तो ठीक कर लो यार, या चाइना बन जाओ या पाकिस्तान बन जाओ या इंडियन बन जाओ। तो जेम्स बॉन्ड का नाम क्यों लेके आ रहा है? अगर तू जेम्स बॉन्ड के नाम लेके आ सकता है तो इंडिया क्यों जाके बाहर से नहीं खरीद सकता है? Are you worried about you become Atmanirbhar in your name first. What would be the impact of the ramjet shell on the capability? It'll be a huge capability enhancement. I'll not. Uh, I'm so sad. So yesterday I got the news. I thought at least this government will stand up against foreign mall loving people, but alas, ये भी frank under है ये. You are also gone case. That's all I can say. The government is doing well on this, I must say. Okay, okay. I'll not talk. We'll talk of gunnery and today of guns. I'm not interested in doing with राकेश शर्मा, ये वो बाद में देखेंगे वो सवाल. Yeah, now the 300 numbers of attacks and logic is clear. Else there is so much of confusion created by internet fanboys. Yes, there's a logic in 300. Why we decided 300? We said, look, it depends on what the output is. Then DRDO will learn. If the learning is good, we'll go for the next lot. The learning, if bad or we don't succeed, then we don't have 300 guns. It's a risk. You took that risk. It's paid off. They've learned. They will come into this other ये जो toad gun system में. They'll come in. They'll come in with some one of these firms. They might design one. So why? Right. ये कोई गन है, ये जनरल को फायर करने ने. Shreyas, thanks a lot for joining us as a member. Welcome. Proud of you. What's your view of Bharat artillery gun of Kalyani? I've never seen it to have a view. I've only read it about in papers. We have to prove it. Now he's got a full Bharat force has got full क्या बोलते हो opportunity to participate in a tender as and he'll make if he's got the basic design he's got which I know he will he'll come forward and tender. If his gun is good, we'll buy that. If another gun is good, we'll buy that. If his gun is cheaper than the rest, we'll buy it. And good and cheaper than the rest, we'll buy it. Otherwise, we'll go for the other one. It's a competitive world. Why should I only go after Bharat Forge? Others also have got capabilities. India should buy the best it wants for the cheapest rate. And today we are able to do it. Attacks were not. I don't think attacks were deployed in Armenia. Yeah, this fellow is this Frank Under. He's got his own ideas. Let him be there. How Chinese MBRL attack can be counted against? Oh well, that's a different thing. I'll talk about it separately because that's a whole story. Why is this attitude of army that for foreign technology ready to give moon? Who said so? Yeah, ये old crow है. Okay, who told you this? Who told you? Okay, so you don't know, so don't talk. There's no point in answering people who don't understand. Thanks, Aditya, for joining. Right? Uh, yeah, I really like your doodle thumbnails. Thank you, Aditya. Thanks a lot. So, weapon locating radars also has some sort of limitations. Yes, it has, but we have a very good weapon locating radar, one of the best in the world. It's all indigenous. Sir, in many channels, Pakistanis always talk about nuclear artillery. Your views? I've spoken about it in one show, so have a look at it. PGS can be used smart to fire smart ammunition. Yes, it can be used. It can't be used just for rocket launching. Guns are different, rockets are different completely. No gun can be used for rocket launching. Why such requirement of 15 tons is made a criteria now? Why not it was conveyed before a single shot was fired? It was. It was. I myself know because I know what I've done. They couldn't control the weight. It's okay. They'll, the new design will come up. In fact, the criteria I gave them was I know because I set the criteria for attacks. I started the attacks project. The criteria I gave them was 12 tons. Yeah, we'll start at 9 p.m. What something's happened. Right. Next time, change your name because I'm not going to answer you 007. All right. Yeah, we can produce ammunition. We don't have a problem. Do we have our own HIMAR and modern system of systems? We have. Pinaka is that. Pinaka is HIMAR. Yeah, see the first tweets. You'll see. They are not journalists, public. What are your views on Swati WR? It's a very good WLR, one of the best in the world. Again, I know because it took me 4 5 years of hard work on it to get it inducted. Arjun Mark II, I will not comment because that's something different completely. We don't know. Mhm. Few people are truly aware that General P.R. Shankar and Mr. Parikar are very close. Yeah, I have full marks to him. I wouldn't say we were very close. You will be surprised. मैंने उनके साथ एक ग्लास पानी तक नहीं पिया. काम किया उनके साथ. बहुत काम कराया मेरे से. मैंने भी बहुत काम किया और उनको भी मैंने इस्तेमाल किया ये हमारा आर्टिलरी इंडिजिनाइज करने के लिए. बट साथ मिलके हमने एक ग्लास पानी नहीं पिया. काम किया हम. क्या हम अपने मिसाइल्स आसमान में लगा के सकते हैं सैटेलाइट्स पर? Yeah, we can, but there are other issues. There are other problems of all that. We'll not talk of it today. Thanks, Anand. Please like the button. Yeah, we like button. Yeah, we need. How you maintain your mustache? Thanks. Uh, yeah, that's that. The kind of content you are creating is really good. I like your cover each topic in detail. Such content is largely absent from media. Look, let me tell you, I started this channel only for this because I found that there were a lot of people giving anyone who was interested in these affairs wrong information, half baked information, false information, uh, Sansani case kind of information. I am not interested in that. I am not even interested in. I want more people to join this channel so that people understand. More people understand. Uh, from my side, no one need join this channel. But from an Indian perspective, people should know the truth and not think that army doesn't know what it's doing or your generals are weak and things like that. If army generals had to do things, we should have been like Pakistan. Missed earlier 55 minutes or don't know. Yeah, no, I'm not upset and angry. I was sort of disappointed when people talk ill of your army. This is the army which has never lost a battle. Okay. Guided artillery is the future. Again, this is mistake. Don't think guided artillery is the future. Guided artillery is part of the future. Okay, let me give you, you should understand. How much does a dumb 155 round cost? 1 lakh. How much does a 155 with a semi guidance kit cost? Anything between 10 to 20 lakhs. How much does a guided ammunition complete, like a bonus ammunition cost? 1 to 1.5 crores. Okay? So can you afford all guided? You can't. No country can. So the inverse ratio principles work. So 90% or 80% unguided, 10 to 15% semi-guided, and 5% guided. That's the thumb rule. Yeah. सर ने चढ़ा रखी है और लोगों कह रहे हैं कि सेंटी मत हो. Yeah, you can think like that. I don't drink. Unfortunately, I don't drink. Hmm. Yeah, I have not seen any reload vehicles with K9. Maybe I'm wrong, but we also order the embedded reload vehicle. Yeah, we at that time we had no clue about the reload vehicle. Today it's required. Any self-propelled vehicle needs a reload vehicle, a logistics vehicle. So there's some thinking on those lines. And yeah, just let me tell you, if you have to make an opinion, I think आपने भी चढ़ा रखा है. A very basic question: is our artillery mainly positioned for defensive purposes? There is no weapon which is meant only for defensive purposes, or there's no weapon which is meant only for offensive purposes. It's meant for both. What did we do in Kargil? We used it offensively. So a weapon can be used offensively or defensively the way you want it. We love our army officers and our jawans. They represent not just the modern Indian army, but yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. सर सुनते हैं कि वॉर से कंट्री की फाइनेंशियल कंडीशन बिगड़ जाती है और कितना खर्चा होता है वॉर से. बहुत बहुत होता है. इफ यू I've lived through the post 71 times and we were very poor at that point of time. Our economy got spoiled for the next 5 years, 6 years after the 71 war. We were very poor. A lot of problems we had. Yeah. Is the IA planning to get Garud gun system from the Himalayan areas? What is Garud gun system? I don't even know what it is. Right. I think we finished all the questions. I've answered all the questions. Some of you think I was angry. I was not angry. I was pretty disappointed with the way people spoke about the army. And people spoke without knowing what we have done. And I don't like anyone lifting a finger against artillery. If there's a genuine thing, I'll myself tell you that's gone wrong, right? So we are the most Atmanirbhar arm. So there's no question of someone talking like that and getting away with it. Okay. Can we use cheap drone in place of artillery in some cases? We can. It's a mixture. Garud 105 towed system, no, we don't need. We have enough 105 capability. We have, in fact, we have come to a time we have to shed 105. We'll have some, so that we have enough. We don't need another someone else to give. I know Baba Kalyani has got this one Garud system. If you're talking of that, I know what he's done. I've seen it. He can export it. There are a lot of countries which want 105. Your anger, even if so is, yeah, thanks, but I'm really not angry. I was quite convinced today that I must do this program and explain. I've given you a logic. I've done this program, artillery yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Have a look at it. If it, if even one thing I've said is not correct, ask me. Right, right. Uh, it's a mounted. Yeah, yeah. Let me see. It's a mounted 105. We don't need it. The requirement is not there. We just don't need any 105, any variant hereafter. What we need is a towed variant is good enough. Mounted systems are very heavy, and 105s necessarily have to go close. They don't get deployed behind. So you have a mounted system in Himalayan terrain, it doesn't work. In the plains, you don't need it. That's the reason. Does the army pay extra to soldiers? No, no, nothing. You get nothing. Yeah, yeah. I think we've done for the day. Thanks a lot, and be proud of your army. Be proud of your artillery. It's one of the best artilleries in the world. I have gone to France. I've gone to USA. I've gone to Singapore. Uh, I've interacted with the British artillery. I've spoken to a lot of people. Right. Uh, and the Pakistanis, they respect artillery quite a bit, right? And maximum of them say, "Can we train in School of Artillery?" Many people come for training there. So we have a very strong artillery. Remember that always. Ravindra has come with one green thing. You talk about India rising power, we can't. Yeah, again, you come back to your negativity. I thought you had left that negativity. अब शुरू हो गए वापस. Okay. So, think positive. We have a lot of challenges to overcome, which we'll overcome, and get overcome only with positive thinking, not negative thinking, not being untrust. Not you have to have confidence that the other person will deliver. Right? Okay. Uh, I think that's about all I have. Um, Tomorrow, I'm doing this on overall of DRDO with Admiral Puri. Join in. He's a very old person who I respect hell of a lot. We've been part of a few committees, and he knows the DRDO well. So he's going to give us some idea of how to overall and many more things, a different view. Right? Thanks a lot. Good evening and Jai Hind.